Please note that this episode of Licensed Gamehole is about a harem franchise focused on brother-sister incest. Viewer discretion is advised. Visual novel about a bunch of sisters all attracted to their big brother? Yeah, you know we've got a Japanese exclusive today. Welcome back to the Licensed Gamehole. Today in the hole we've got licensed GBA quest with Sister Princess RePure. This was released in 2003, published by Marvelous Entertainment, and developed by, well, that's a good question. Normally we base things on Moby Games, but the game isn't available there. Wikipedia claims that it was developed by MediaWorks on the Sister Princess page, but it also claimed it was published by MediaWorks, which is clearly incorrect as Marvelous's name shows up in the game's intro. Meanwhile, on their list of GBA games, no developer is listed. GameFAQs claims the developer is Marvelous themselves, while the cutting room floor shows the developer as Arcadia Project. This seems most likely. Arcadia also appears to have made a Haruhi visual novel for PSP, which would line up nicely with this game. But we honestly can't be sure. Sister Princess was originally a light novel series that ran from 1999 to 2003, written by Sakurako Kimino, who would later create the Love Live series, and illustrated by Naoto Tenhiro. The anime adaptation, which the game is explicitly based on, ran from 2001 to 2002 and was done by Zex. For our research, we watched the first 2 episodes of Season 1 and the first episode of the second season, which is subtitled RePure. They seem to be entirely different beasts. The first season is more of a typical harem where Protag-kun gets shipped off to an island for failing his entrance exams, and finds that 12 sisters are living in the same house as him and are all in love with him. Meanwhile, RePure seems to be an episodic series going over various side stories and slice-of-life events, with each episode focusing on a different girl. Gun to our head, we'd rather watch the entirety of the first season instead of one more episode of RePure, as its low budget and repetitive writing is excruciating to get through if you're not enamored with the sister waifu of the day. Overall, this kind of thing just icks us out. Not fictional incest, that's fine, but boring harem anime. The waifus are all very generic, and even the ones that are theoretically our type, like the witch and the gadget girl, don't do much for us, just because we can tell these aren't organic, natural waifus. They're filling a niche because it's known that niche exists. For how generic all the girls are, the guy is much worse, with no personality trait and not even some wacky ecchi mix-ups because, they're all just instantly fawning over him. Season 2 seems to have gotten rid of the main guy entirely, presumably to fit with visual novels like this where the guy is just meant to be an avatar for the player to imagine themselves on a date with the girls. All this series has going for it is the incest angle, and that doesn't even seem like it's that important, as Wikipedia notes that the games tend to have multiple endings, with one revealing that the brother and sister aren't actually related by blood, so it's fine. Listen, if you're gonna do an incest romance plot, you've got to go all the way with it. No, actually they're adopted step-siblings, especially not the last minute like that. You're just putting a little asterisk to point to if anybody complains. Bet they'd say the lolly is actually 18 too. Enough about the series concept, let's get started on the actual game. The game's opening sequence shows each of the sisters doing a neutral expression, and then the same happy expression. These girls have got a bad case of same face going on. In order, these are Karen, Kaho, Mamoru, Sakuya, Hinako, Marie, Shirayuki, Rinrin, Chikage, Haruka, Yotsuba, and Aria. All of these girls have one personality trait that makes them unique, but we're not going over all that because would you even remember? We've already forgotten 8 of their names since finishing the list. The game proper opens with each sister saying, "Oni-chan," or their equivalent of it, while also making sure you know in the text box that they are talking about you specifically. Love the mental image of sitting on the train at the end of the day, on your way home. You're zoning out a little, thinking about the day, And then you hear someone's GBA chirp out, "Big Brother," 12 times in a row. Then we get to our first choice in the game. So here's the thing. We still can't read Japanese. So we decided that we would just pick the first option in every choice and see what happens. This one takes us on a train into town. After some wandering around, MC thinks about Karen and a weird film grain filter. Either that or he's remembering the day when the beige seizure rain happened. Right after, who should show up but Karen? This game likes to do a thing where the waifus will start a distance away and then come closer, and every time it reminds us of being attacked by a charging enemy in an FPS. Use the shotgun! Get her! But no, we're going on a date with Karen, and our choices throughout can give us hearts that fill the bar on the left, which we assume gives you a better ending. While the other Sister Princess games appear to be actual dating sims, this one is very simplistic, but does remind us of RePure as you go through a small story highlighting Karen. In this one, we mostly wander around town and run into these Ace Attorney-esque exploratory segments, where you have to try and find whatever hotspot will move the game on. We pick out some makeup and flower seeds for Karen, before going into a clothing shop and picking an accessory for her. That bow looks cute in our opinion, but the game won't move on until we choose the orange ribbon. Karen loves it, some other girls show up, and we get this graphic of Karen standing in the square as the credits roll. As the credits roll? We haven't even been playing for 15 minutes! For some reason, this game plays the credits after each episode, but it's so jarring when this has all just felt like a prologue. Well, at least we can count this game as beaten, right? Credits are rolling, it's not a fake out. According to Backloggery, that's a beaten game. After the credits, you get the girl selection screen, where you can choose which girl's episode you want to see next. We went with Chikage because visually we like her the best. We don't remember her special trait, but she seems like the more serious, mature type. Our initial conversation with her goes poorly and we lose a heart. She looks so disappointed. What was that option? Did we tell her to go fuck her mother? After that, this weird non-sister girl shows up. Look at her big eyes. She looks like some sort of jump scare horror monster. Oh no, she's coming! Yeah! We have no idea who this girl is, but her text box is orange. That's something. Like Karen's episode, Chikage's just kind of goes along regardless of what choices you make. As long as you're hitting A, you just make it through. A quick summary. We lose another heart. The lolly shows up. Some other girls show up and we get a heart with one of them. The mysterious girl shows up. At night. Chikage takes us to one of those abandoned buildings from Marble Hornets. We head inside as the sun goes supernova outside, bathing the world in orange. Safe from the initial explosion, we go back outside and snuggle together under a blanket in the purple hue of the aftermath, watching the stars as we slowly freeze to death together. How romantic. Also, despite drawing Mad Puss, we find out the MC has had this outfit on the whole time. What is this look, dude? You look like you're running 15 minutes late to your child custody hearing. You look like you're about to struggle and fail a McDonald's interview in 30 minutes. This sorry son of a bitch has no face and can't dress himself, and yet he gets 12 girls who all want to suck his dick. Once the credits roll, you go back to the title or the girl select screen, where you can select Chikage and do it all over again, continuing the eternal time loop. Hooray. Technically, there's nothing stopping us from going through every single story, but we're going to end this episode here. Sister Princess RePure is in Japanese. There's nothing we can really say about the game, because it's in Japanese. It all seems like a pretty straightforward visual novel, mostly for existing fans, but it's hard to say for sure because, you guessed it, it's in Japanese. Talking about what we can talk about, this game looks quite nice. The sprites look nice and there's a lot of varied backgrounds. The little bits of animation look impressive, even if they play some of them way too much, like the birds flying that plays 3 times in the intro. And the end of story CGs look very good despite their pixelation. Compare them to something like those He-Man graphics from last time, and it's clear more work has been done to translate these images to the GBA. The music is pretty typical happy visual novel music, and the little voice clips sound decent. Seeing your heart go up or down as you play is convenient, and filling each girl's heart meter seems like it would take some time. We can't really give this game a fair rating, but everything we can see certainly looks put together well. Is it fun? We don't know. Pushing A to advance past text we couldn't read wasn't fun, but that's not the game's fault. Still, it didn't directly waste our time or show its hatred towards us, and in the whole, we call that a win. Thank you for watching. A shorter episode since there's less we can cover here, but our monolinguality won't stop us from seeing what we can see. Next time in the hole, we're going back to Jedi. We'll see you all then. Bye, everybody.